What is the Master Service Agreement? What is its purpose? And how does it work in practice? I'm Malcolm Zoppi, an English qualified solicitor, and in this video, I will explain the Master Service Agreement. Stay until the end of the video to find out the difference between the Master Service Agreement and the terms and conditions. Okay, so what is the MSA? In short, it is a fairly lengthy and complex document that aims to clarify the relationship between two parties and how they are to collaborate in future projects. It sets the main rules for how the parties will work in the future, and then in the future, when the need arises, they will sign schedules or projects that specify exactly on that project how they are to work together. For example, what kind of services Party B is to provide to Party A, and then that project is going to be governed by this Master Service Agreement, which applies for every project, this one and any future ones. Typically, the MSA specifies what each party is responsible for, how invoices are to be sent and when they are to be paid, and, for example, how disputes are to be solved. Now, before we discuss how the MSA works in practice, keep in mind that it is only useful as a document if it is properly drafted and properly reflects you and your business. For example, let's assume that you are a consultant and you provide advisory services to other businesses in the UK. Now, you'll want to get a Master Service Agreement signed by your clients, and then every time a client comes to you with ad hoc issues, you will ask them to sign a project, so a schedule to the Master Service Agreement, and that project is going to be again governed by the MSA. But if that MSA is not drafted well, then every single time that client comes and asks you to do work for them, or any other clients sign schedules, you're not properly protected. One of the issues that I've identified in previous MSAs when I've reviewed them for my clients is that the MSA, the body of the contract, so the lengthy one, would specify that the consultant is to deliver an invoice only once the services have been delivered, but then the project schedule might specify that the project can be terminated simply by giving notice even before the project has been completed. So the legal consequences there is that since the project has not been properly completed, then in theory, the consultant cannot invoice for their services, and therefore the consultant would have done work for free and would have more difficulty in recovering the fees that they would want to invoice to their client. So if you want to give your business the best chances of, number one, minimizing legal risks, and number two, success, then feel free to reach out. I have my contact details in the description below. Great, so how does the MSA work in practice? Well, as discussed, every time a new client wants to use your services, you would ask them to sign the Master Service Agreement, and then as they require your services, you get them to sign a schedule, and the schedule would specify details for that specific project. For example, the exact services that are to be delivered by the consultant to the client, the fees for that project, and any specific deliverables that are being requested by the client. But what are the differences between the Master Service Agreement and standard terms and conditions? Well, the MSA, as discussed, is more of an umbrella contract, and then the specifics are detailed in a project or in a schedule. Further, the MSA is typically used between businesses. On the other hand, the terms and conditions could, for example, be hosted on a website, could be used between businesses, but also between a business and a consumer, and typically are comprehensive, so they specify everything regarding a specific transaction between a business and their client. As an example, the terms and conditions for the sale of products when buying from a website will be the entire document or the entire relationship between those two contracting parties. Now, a good Master Service Agreement is just one piece of the puzzle when it comes to properly running a business from a legal perspective. And therefore, make sure to watch this video to learn about the legal essentials of running a business, including, for example, the top 3 laws that you need to be aware of to avoid legal issues. Thank you for watching.